Alright, you guys, welcome back to Stage 0. My name is Alex, and I'm here to showcase the deck that I utilized in Nationals of 2022. So I did end up playing Janemba. Now, the place in the meta, it's kind of weird, just because we have a lot of decks that draw a lot, and we have a lot of decks that are able to control how much they draw. I thought it was a comfortable pick, not the best pick, or not the best format to be a Janemba player. However, I was able to squeeze 6 wins, and I did lose 3. So yeah, I'll go over my matchups at the very end, okay? So, Janemba, same thing. I'm not going to go over it just in the sake of time. So, what I'm going to start off is just like my mill cards within like the deck. So, I ended up playing the 4 Unisons, 2 Agents of Destructions, 2 Reality Benders. Since blue is starting to get a little bit more popular back again, and they're utilizing that counter play trunks, I'm probably going to switch this one into Reality Bender, just because it gives them a little layer of protection. And you cannot play these anyway until like turn 4. And the Unison, definitely weaker nowadays. Anything's able to snipe it really fast. Yet, you still need it, just because you want to make sure to set up some turns, your bigger mill turns, and then you also want to make sure that sometimes if you set this up, it kind of acts like a blocker in a way that they want to deal with it as fast as possible too. So yeah, let's just go ahead and keep the ball rolling. So, super combo of choice. Now I did this because I wanted to filter a little bit more. However, this was not probably the best choice. I probably should have tested a little bit more with the other super combos, particularly the dual color ones. Since this not being live until at 4 live, it already feels like I'm set up in a losing position. Particularly because as a Janemba player, you don't want to take live ever. Actually, you just want to try to stay, if you can, at 8. Try to stay at 8. That's the whole purpose of why we play Janemba. As long as we drag the game better, we have better odds of winning. And in a way, just going down for this, didn't feel real good. And then just you can cycle, but yeah, it wasn't necessarily the best choice. As powerful as it is, at the very least in this deck. So yeah. Let's go ahead and move on. More utility cards. 2 Majin Buu. This is exactly for blue, particularly for blue, and you ramp blue. You want to make sure you set this up, and then you just protect it as much as you can, almost as like your second leader, because this is what it's gonna get you back in the game once they turn the tide. We don't play any answers in the main deck for turning the tide, so that's almost like a guaranteed play that they're going on. However, at that point, you have the advantage to come back, which did happen in the tournament, by the way. So yeah, negates. D-Magic, Whis Coercion, and then Dirty Burst. Fun fact, I actually find myself utilizing Dirty Burst more so for the negated attack as opposed to the actual counterplay. It was there, it was cute, but most of the time I just needed the negated attack. Particularly with, again, something like Sin, I'd much rather waste one card such as like Whis Coercion to negate one of their first attacks as opposed to, taking a 20k double strike crit very early in the game. So yeah, let's go over. Now some actual battle cards, or combo cards. We're playing for the 4 Sensu, and then the 4 Virus Destroys. With that, I guess we're also playing the 4 Pseudo Super Combos, and I probably should say the 6 Pseudo Super Combos. Everything was great. Sometimes it's inevitable for you to go to combo step, so you obviously want to avoid it, because nowadays they have 13, 14 card hands. They can dump just 3 cards, and that itself is going to be powerful enough to secure damage. For example, Senshin Ron, they have an 8 cost, that's 30k, triple strike. They can utilize, say, a super combo, and then they use Trunks Power Deluge. That's already 50k that I have to combo, and that itself takes so many cards off my hand, or just like leads me to cycle. So the way to play this one is actually just getting off those first strings, like leader strings or whatever it might be. So yeah, it kind of sucks that in Janemba we're not really utilizing this to its fullest potential, just because we don't want to put any cards on the bottom. We will if we have to. So if they go with a 2-drop and I'm able to snipe it back to the bottom, that will do that. But almost 99% of the time, 90% of the time, we're just drawing the card and not doing anything else aside from that. And now we're gonna enter to what's actually the utility cards of the deck. So Drives, of course, and then with that we're also using Black Smoke. Black Smoke is fantastic. It does everything that you need it to do. I wish it would have sniped 8 costs, so that way you can, you have an easy answer for stuff. But yeah, so at the worst, draws you 2 cards. At the best, removes a Unison and removes a battle card. So this is a fantastic addition for Janemba, particularly because it also takes your opponent's drop into consideration. So they're always going to have 7 or more because you're milling them out. So yeah. Other utility cards, negate and also pick up again and warp one of their cards. Fantastic card, all weekend too. Kami, I didn't use it a lot just because I mean people are smart, they know how to play around Kami. So this is something in the C deck for that, but still a really good card, really good to have. And then Protector of the People. This was one of my favorite just because it's inevitable for us to go sometimes to the combo step, but this at least makes it that if they're gonna go wide, they're gonna have to deal with a buffed up leader. During the week, I think the most that it got is all the way to 40, and the guy was still trying to push. Yeah, the 40 base. So it was kind of interesting. It was actually pretty interesting. Next, just a Bardock, and then my secret of choice was the Vermilion Saiyans. Do not play anything that's not the Vermilion Saiyans. Sometimes I would like to set up Vermilion to warp another extra guy and just like play a Kami and leave it there. Pass, and then whenever I felt it was appropriate, then I would realize that the Vermilion Saiyans. Just to warp one extra card. So yeah, I did ended up warping 4 cards. If they're playing Sand, they're playing the dual color, and they have that Vegeta because I'm not really swinging for life. They're pinning themselves down. The Sea Battle card, I would warp 4. So yeah, it was a great secret rare. Obviously, you gotta know how to bait out everything that has to do with like the counters. So for example, I'll start with Protector of the People because this is powerful enough to merit a negate. And then I'll just follow it up with a Vermilion Save. So I would Protect the People, negate, leader skill negate, and then their next swing, boom. Yeah, that was a very common play that I did throughout the weekend. So now let's go see battle, see deck. So the one that I use the most, Cell, just to remove more of the cards. This hits 5, Kami only hits 2, fantastic. And then I also had my Vegetas. So this was, I never really find myself in a position to take a life, but I did find myself in a position that I needed to recycle cards of my hand because as you can see, a lot of it was pretty cloggy. And more importantly, my blue count is on 31. So I had a couple games that I had to charge something, for example, my Unisens, and that itself already put me behind on the mill. So, or just didn't allow me to set up for my biggest mill turn. That actually cost me a couple games, but yeah. So this is the way that I would recur, just see different cards, see what's up. Great cards, and then the rest is just utility. Same thing. I don't really care about the swinging or the fact that he's able to bottom deck something, unless it was like a Sea Battle card that without barrier. But it was more so the active main just to cycle an extra deck card. And then also Virus was good to just remove any sort of secret rares or barriers or cards that were barrier. Particularly C deck battle cards. Didn't use it as much as other decks because my manipulation of energy isn't as high as any other decks. And then the last one was a Vegito. Even though it's a cute play you can do in Janemba and it feels good because if he's a 5 cost, realistically, you don't want to put 2 cards under them, one from hand, one from the bottom, because that's literally an extra leader swing. So it never really was worth it as much as just passing with 5 energy open. Alright, so the next, my side deck, I probably needed a little bit more work, but I got into the Pilaf, hype of everyone. It didn't really work out for me. I didn't really side it in anytime. I had negates, and there was no reason for me, like even to take 1 damage, it was just better to plain out negate. So I would understand other decks, but mine that has so many negates, probably not. So yeah, I'll put this on the side, and now card that I actually sided in, not even a scratch, fantastic card, fantastic negate. Just I would side out the cells, put this in, just negate the combo step. This is the only thing that I want. Just negate the combo step because I don't want them to secure damage on me. With the added benefit of just like removing it, drawing 1 card. That's perfect. This is what we want on a negate. Played against Ram, but they didn't see it. But still, I wouldn't feel comfortable without it on the side. If I would have saw it, then if I would have actually see it, then it'd probably be a little different. I did end up winning that match, but still a great card. Similar to this one, like these are cards that I wouldn't feel comfortable as a Janemba player not to have in my side. But I didn't play any hand destruction, so I didn't side it in. So Shin was great all weekend too. It just, even if they had Sin Shin run already, the 8-drop out, or just play this one. I played against a Vegito, just played this one and took care of that. I don't have to burn any negates for that, and I'll just be able to drag the game until I'm able to mill them out. So yeah, it was a great card too. But 2 was fine, particularly in a deck like Janemba again. Which, fun fact, we used to be able to manipulate energy, but in a way, the hit of Sensu, even though you might think it didn't really hit us as much, it kind of did, just because sometimes we had more energy to do stuff in our turn. And then just everything else, ratio fixers, the extra ape, most likely would always come in. Great card as well. The extra black smoke, extra protected other people, and then the extra derriber. So yeah, that's the whole main inside. Honestly, so I went 6-3, as I said. Did I deserve to top? Probably not, just because I didn't play test as much as other players, more experienced players did. It was just a comfortable choice, a choice that I took on Friday. So yeah, I am kind of sad that it's my first Nats that I don't top, but that's totally fine. I did realize the old leader because I thought I was gonna be done with Dragon Ball. However, after that weekend, I still want to play more. It was a great tournament. Even though we were there for the whole day, it was a great tournament. So yeah, as sort of my matchup, so I ended up playing against Forsen. I lost against my first one, Dinok. He had mastery over his deck and mastery over my deck because he used to be a Janemba player. Great player, great guy. Congrats on him for his top 32. And then I won against 3 other Senshan runs. I won against a Ram Dende, which is the blue Dende, and then lost against Launch. Surprisingly, he turned in the title on me. I was not expecting that. And then lost against Crimson Coup, and ended up winning against Hachiak, and I think I'm missing one. Vegeta. I also beat Vegeta. So yeah, those were all my rounds. It was a great event. Congrats to Isaiah from Team Zero, Stage Zero, was able to top, and shoutouts to all of the Janemba Facebook group. You guys are completely amazing. I love how we always toss our own ideas as if the leader wasn't highly restricted on what it could do. But I just really like that energy. And yeah, shout out to everyone from Stage Zero and to all my friends.